So congratulations. Let's see it. Let's see it. Beautiful. How does it feel to finally be able to share this news with the world?
It feels so good. I mean, we've been waiting several months now, trying to keep it under wraps. And yeah, to finally be able to just be normal and admit, yes, we are engaged. Yeah, it feels great.
Yeah. And looking back on the show, I'm sure you watched the, proposal last night in the finale. Is it different in your head than it looks on TV?
In the moment, yes, because in the moment I kind of was like frozen inside and like freeze up and don't really understand what's going on. So watching it back, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, that's what happened.
I enjoyed watching it back because I kind of didn't remember how it all went down, to be honest. It was so crazy. It's just
What would you say was the biggest challenge for each of you being on the show?
Well, aside from like the logistical stuff, like, long days and all that, obviously we had, a little bit of a rough patch in the beginning. And I think that was the hardest for me personally to go through, both in person and watching it back.
Yeah. And how about you?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the living conditions, not the conditions, but just the long days, not a lot of sleep, and just you find yourself in these constant super important conversations like nonstop, and it gets overwhelming sometimes, but but that's why the process works, because everything's blocked out and you're just focusing on these things. And obviously it ended up working out great for us.
And Maury, how are you feeling when Kenny proposed? Like, what was going through your mind at that moment?
Yeah, I mean, I was excited. I was really happy. For a second there, I thought he wasn't going to. So yeah, no, I just felt like, I don't know, just super excited and happy and just bliss.
Yeah. So Kenny, why have things not worked out? Because you're 40, yes? I'm 37. Correct. Listen, it's like, it happens. Like, why have things not worked out for you before? Like, and what was different about Mari this
time? In the past, it was just more me, just, having the walls up, a lot of the classic stuff for some guys sometimes, just stuff like that. But going in, I told myself I wanted to allow this to like something like this to happen, and and meeting Mari at the same time of me just being fully open and vulnerable and everything like that, like it was just a perfect storm for me for this all to work out the way it did.
When did each of you know that it was love, that this is the real deal?
Yeah, for me, it was, after we had overcome that first obstacle in the beginning, that's when I really started to feel like, okay, if we can get through something like this, then this could actually work, because everything else, I mean, personality and our conversations had gone great. And we knew obviously that there was physical attraction. So all of those things were already in place. And once I knew that we were going to be able to overcome any obstacles that came our way, that's when I was like, okay, this is like a real deal thing.
Yeah. And how about for you, Kenny?
Yeah. Well, I knew right when she walked down, but then we had to like, no, I came on strong in the beginning. But I think I've been pinpointing sort of when I felt like we were both on the same page, as I got back from the date with Tia, and Mari had like pulled me off right away and sort of like kind of told me she was in the same place that I was. And for me, that was, once I knew I was getting back from her what I was putting out, I was all in at that point.
I always wonder about this. So it was like, what, 2 months since you guys stopped filming, right?
3 now.
3?
3, yeah.
Yeah. So how is life different as a couple off camera as opposed to when the cameras are constantly like in your business?
I think there's a lot less pressure, to be honest, because outside of that world, you're free to kind of just be yourself and do normal things. So we've spent a lot of time together since then, which has been really good, and just getting to know each other. But there's not that pressure of like, you have this amount of time to make your decision.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you don't like, and now that we don't have to have, like I was saying, like these intense conversations all the time. Now we can just like literally chill, watch Netflix and just like relax and just be together. We don't have to like constantly be having conversations about stuff.
Yeah, to just be like a regular couple now.
Yeah.
So they did things differently this season, and that they had, you know, this rotation of guest hosts. Who were your favorites, and who would you want to see actually take over maybe like a permanent role?
Lil Jon was my favorite. I think just the energy that he brought, and he was always so hype. And yeah, I think he was great. He did a really good job, which surprised me, to be honest, because I don't think I've ever seen him in a hosting capacity before. But yeah, he was my favorite. And if we're talking about permanent, I think Lance Bass did a really great job. And I could see him being a permanent host.
Because he's a huge fan of the franchise.
Oh yeah, which was really cool that, you know, these huge celebrities like are fans of watching us.
Yeah.
Who are your favorites, Kenny?
I thought Lil Jon was fantastic. Absolutely. My favorite, and this is just because I grew up on David Spade, his SNL years, the Chris Farley stuff was like sort of my, you know, in my age range. So that was awesome. And especially him in the beginning, and we got to do a little thing when I arrived. So he was my favorite, but that was a personal, just because I love David Spade. But I really think Lil Jon added some cool, like a really cool spin to the whole hosting thing.
It's like,
but at the end of the day, I think Wells would be probably the best host, obviously.
Yeah. Okay, so what happens now with you guys? Do you live in the same area, or how's that working?
Yeah, we don't. So I live in Maryland. Kenny lives here in Chicago.
Got it.
I will be moving here early next year. And yeah, that's just going to be the first step for us.
Yeah. And then, you know, of course, you get married, then comes the babies, if you wish. Is that in your future?
It is in our future. We haven't specifically mapped it all out just yet, but in the next couple of years, probably.
Perfect. But we got to get to the wedding first.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, please.
Well, congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. If you want more extra, hit the subscribe button and the bell so you'll never miss a video.